Amazon built the largest private workforce in American history. 1.6 million people packing boxes, answering calls, generating millions of data points every shift. Now, while posting record profits, the company is cutting tens of thousands of those workers. Andy Jassy put it plainly, we will need fewer people. But the layoffs are not the real story. The real story is how Amazon's workforce unknowingly built the machine now replacing them. May 2026. Overnight, more than 30,000 people in Amazon's Selling Partner Services division lost their jobs. The notice arrived by email, 3 sentences, no warning, no path back. Within 72 hours, the Selling Partner Services support system, the backbone for millions of third-party sellers, went dark. For the workers, there was no time to process what had happened. Accounts were deactivated, Slack channels vanished, and years of institutional knowledge disappeared with them. Inside Amazon seller forums, panic spread. Payouts that once landed like clockwork were suddenly delayed by up to 48 hours. An electronics brand dependent on Amazon for nearly all its revenue missed $250,000 when disbursements stalled. An apparel seller watched chargeback fees spike 12% as order cancellations went unprocessed for 3 days. A health supplement distributor lost access to the seller API for 5 days, watching $1.1 million in revenue evaporate as automated fallback systems failed to deliver. The official explanation pointed to efficiency. Andy Jassy's memo was blunt. He said the company would need fewer people doing some of the jobs that are being done today, and that they expected this would reduce the total corporate workforce as they get efficiency gains from using AI extensively across the company. The company's financials told a different story. Amazon reported $59 billion in profit for 2025 and committed $200 billion to new data centers, robotics, and generative AI research. Yet the people who had built and maintained the world's largest e-commerce infrastructure were now being told they were an inefficiency, collateral in the pursuit of algorithmic scale. For Selling Partner Services staff, the layoffs felt less like a business cycle and more like an erasure. Many had spent years troubleshooting seller issues, refining support protocols, and documenting edge cases, feeding the very data that now powers the AI systems replacing them. The irony was hard to ignore. The workforce that built Amazon's operational brain had, in effect, trained it to do their jobs. In the aftermath, questions multiplied. Could a company that depends on millions of sellers afford to gut the human layer that keeps its marketplace running? And if AI is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, who is actually invited to benefit? The answers would be measured not just in profit margins, but in the lives and livelihoods left outside the machine. Jeff Bezos launched Amazon in 1994 with a simple idea: use technology and scale to transform retail. By the year 2000, the company's workforce had grown to 9,000, enough to fill warehouses, answer phones, and process the first waves of online orders. But this was only the beginning. Over the next 2 decades, Amazon deliberately expanded its human workforce at a pace that dwarfed most corporations in American history. SEC filings show the headcount rising to 33,700 by 2010, then exploding to 647,500 by 2018. By the end of 2021, the number reached 1.6 million. That year alone, Amazon added an average of 1,400 new employees every day, most of them in fulfillment centers, sortation hubs, and last-mile delivery routes. This massive hiring wasn't an accident or a byproduct of growth. It was a calculated strategy. Human workers became the backbone of Amazon's promise: fast and reliable delivery of millions of unique products. Nearly 80% of the company's workforce in 2021 was devoted to physically moving, picking, and packing items. Every scan, every pick, every customer interaction generated a stream of operational data. This data, timestamps, error rates, route logs, and call transcripts became the raw material for Amazon's next phase. In March 2012, Amazon made a $775 million bet on the future by acquiring Kiva Systems, a robotics startup. The deal introduced fleets of orange robots that ferried entire shelving units to stationary workers The effect was immediate. Where a human picker might have managed 100 items per hour on foot, the Kiva system enabled 300 to 400 picks per hour. Fulfillment centers that once required miles of walking now ran on a choreography of humans and machines. By 2025, internal analyses estimated that between 520,000 and 750,000 robots operated throughout Amazon's global network. Yet even as robots multiplied, the company's message was clear: automation would not replace people but make them more productive. Public statements from executives describe robots as tools that bring the products directly to employees. The goal was not to eliminate jobs, it was to create a data-rich environment where every movement and every decision could be measured and improved. The Kiva acquisition was more than a hardware upgrade. It was a turning point that allowed Amazon to map, quantify, and optimize the work of millions. Human labor scaled the business and robots supercharged its efficiency. Together, they produced the operational knowledge and the digital exhaust that would soon train the algorithms waiting in the wings. As Amazon's fulfillment empire grew, so did its appetite for data. Every package shipped, every support ticket closed, every item picked became a lesson for the machine. The company's human workforce wasn't just building the infrastructure, they were building the training set for the systems that would one day make many of their own roles obsolete. Amazon's rise wasn't a simple swap of people for machines, it followed a three-phase plan. First, a vast network powered by human labor, then the introduction of robotics tracking every movement, and finally a shift where infrastructure itself became intelligence. The launch of Amazon Web Services in 2006 marked a turning point. Amazon Web Services gave Amazon a private on-demand supercomputer years ahead of rivals. It did not just serve outside clients, it became the core of Amazon's own machine learning, running everything from demand forecasts to customer service bots. By 2025, Amazon Web Services accounted for nearly a third of Amazon's operating income, with billions funneled back into AI research. SageMaker, the machine learning platform sold to clients, was used internally to train and deploy models at a scale few could match. The raw material for these systems came from daily work, warehouse scans, call center logs, inventory forecasts, code review comments. Each barcode scan, every seller support ticket, every snippet of code became a signal in a massive telemetry system. Terabytes of operational data poured into Amazon Web Services data lakes each day, creating a feedback loop where human actions trained the algorithms that would eventually automate them. Engineers and frontline workers, knowingly or not, were building the systems that would one day replace many of their roles. This was no accident. Internal tools like SageMaker and Code Whisperer were tested on Amazon's own operations first. Customer service bots learned from millions of call transcripts. Inventory models trained on forecasts from fulfillment managers. The infrastructure was always more than physical, it was a pipeline, turning work into data, data into intelligence. Andy Jassy's June 2025 memo was blunt. He wrote that the company would need fewer people doing some of the jobs that are being done today, and that they expect this will reduce their total corporate workforce as they get efficiency gains from using AI extensively across the company. The numbers followed quickly. 14,000 jobs were cut in October, another 16,000 in January. By May 2026, over 30,000 more roles disappeared from selling partner services. Each layoff wave appeared in SEC Form 8K filings, with automation cited as the driving force. By early 2026, 85% of Tier 1 customer service requests were handled entirely by AI. Internal dashboards showed support floors emptied, replaced by machine learning models trained on years of employee-generated data, call transcripts, error logs, and code reviews. The very data created by those workers helped enable their replacement. Amazon's engineering blog noted a 20% drop in junior developer headcount thanks to agentic code tools. 11,000 new software engineers would be hired in 2026, but those jobs required skills far beyond what most displaced workers possessed. Internal projections obtained by the New York Times estimated Amazon would avoid hiring 600,000 workers by 2033 as automation absorbed routine operations. Amazon posted $59 billion in profit for 2025 while allocating $200 billion for new data centers, robotics, and generative AI. The company called it progress. Labor advocates saw the 85% automation rate as a shift in value from frontline workers to shareholders. Policy experts flagged legal risks. Many layoffs happened with less notice than the WARN Act requires. Data privacy concerns mounted as employee-generated data continued to fuel AI models without clear consent, raising alarms under GDPR and CCPA. This was no accident. The people who built Amazon's empire now face a future where their work is simply no longer needed. Today, Amazon's profits soar as the company spends billions on automation, even as Andy Jassy declares that Amazon will need fewer people doing some of the jobs that are being done today. The workers who built the empire trained their own replacements. In the age of AI, who really reaps the reward?